Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over a relative bombshell that just got dropped on the community. So I want to go over all that news with you guys. So let's go into it. If you've gone onto the forums or really just looked up anything about the game today, you'll see that there is a second passover, right, of the game to a new development company. So the game started off with Hibernum, and then Octagon took control of the game after, I think it was Aether Revolt, and just before the Ixalan set came out, and then now we're getting another new studio that's going to be taking over for Octagon called Webcore Games. So they gave us this really nice big announcement over here with a lot of information in it. And so I wanted to go ahead and unpack the information that they gave to us and share just a little bit about the studio that I've looked up and give you my thoughts on what this transition means. So first thing is, it's kind of bittersweet for me actually to see the studio changed. I really like the people that I've talked with at Octagon, and I've talked with a few people at the studio, and they just seem like really good people. They had a lot of passion for the game, and especially coming into the game and trying to put in some innovation. So some notable things, they introduced event supports, they introduced PvP that you can do within the coalition. They brought all the sets into the game from Ixalan up until now, and so I'm really grateful for what they've done to the game and then just their general support of my channel. And so I'm sad to see them go, but at the same time I'm also excited for what will hopefully be a really cool new era for the game and for another perspective to come into the game. So the new company here is called Webcore Games, and so I'm just going to read the little thing that they posted, and I'll also give my thoughts as I go. So it says, "Greetings everyone. Today we would like to share some exciting news with the community. After nearly 6 years of devoted service by Octagon, the time has come to pass the reins over to a new development team to usher in a new era of Magic Puzzle Quest. And they are introducing themselves as Webcore Games." So who are all the new faces at Webcore Games? So they've got 20 years of experience covering a variety of consoles, mobile, AR/VR games. Webcore Games released the first original Brazilian game, so it was an IP, internationally on consoles, and helped pioneer free-to-play on PlayStation to a player base of over 10 million gamers. Our achievements include 2 Best Brazilian Game titles and the Epic Mega Grant. Our team is known for its flexibility and senior involvement in all projects. Additionally, we're currently licensed by Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Besides our contribution to diverse, soon-to-be-released international titles, our own ongoing ventures include a Switch-focused title, a VR game, and the live ops, meaning everything that goes into a game, right? Like day-to-day stuff, marketing, checking in with players, all that kind of jazz, of a renowned mobile title you might all be familiar with, Puzzle Quest. So, we understand that Magic Puzzle Quest is a complex and intricate game rooted in the legendary game multiverse that has shaped the world of collectible card games for over 30 years. To ensure that both the source material and our community receive the dedicated knowledge and attention they deserve, we've assembled a cherry-picked team who come equipped with a breadth of knowledge perfect for the job. Not only are they experts with a wealth of experience from multiple platforms of AAA titles, but many of them have been judges at international Magic the Gathering events, totaling over 30 years of combined judging experience. And most importantly, our team is united by a shared passion for Magic in all its incarnations. So that right there is actually, it stands out to me, right? Not as much the AAA titles, but just the community of Magic players, with many of them being judges for a sum of 30 years. I'd be interested in knowing how many of them are judges, and so is this like, there are 30 judges and they've all done it for a year, or is it more like, there are 5 of them and they've all been judges for 6 years? I'm guessing more of the 5, but nonetheless, that just means, like, in order to become a judge, you really have to know a lot of the ins and outs of Magic, and so for them to have a lot of those people on their team shows at the very least that there are people who have a lot of passion for Magic the Gathering. And I think that that's really important for a company that's taking over Puzzle Quest, because at the core of the game, right, you've got the Puzzle Quest element, but you've also got the Magic element. And so hopefully that can help bring the game a little bit more in line with the Magic side of it, right? So this next bit, they're saying that there were clues that they were going to be shifting over. So by now you might have cracked the clues scattered across Octagon's official forum posts and realized they've been leading up to this important announcement. If you have, give yourself a pat on the back. I do not deserve a pat on the back. I did not see this coming. Transitioning a game as intricate as Magic Puzzle Quest to a new studio is no small feat. This monumental shift has required us to deeply immerse ourselves in every aspect that keeps the game running, and you may have noticed the side effects of this intensive onboarding. I think that this next piece is the most important piece to the current survival and sort of state of the game, which is that they then say, you may have noticed the side effects, which were a slower pace in bug fixes, fewer new cards and events, and other changes over the past few months. Namely, those first two, right? The slower pace of bug fixes and the fewer new cards and events. So they then go ahead to say, but rest assured, this is all part of the process as we get fully up to speed, learning the ins and outs of the game's operations and requirements. I know that there's been a lot of feedback from the community that there's this feeling, especially in the last few months, of why are we playing the game and reporting all these bugs that are coming up, some game-breaking bugs along with balance of some of the cards, right? Kiora, Danitha, just these game-breaking combos, and the responses have been either non-existent or just incredibly slow. And so for a lot of people in the community that I've heard from, there's just been a lot of frustration around that. And so this gives us a clear answer as to why it is that has been happening, right? So it's been happening because the dev team is swapping to a new group, and as part of that, they're getting their bearings on the game and figuring out how to make the game their own and how to do that balancing. So hopefully what this means, especially as they say, but rest assured, this is all part of the process as we get fully up to speed, learning the ins and outs of the game's operations and requirements. This means that future bug fixes and card balance changes are going to come a little bit more quickly, a lot bit more quickly, right? That's really important. So they go on to then say, as we've become more familiar with the game, our role has expanded. Our hands-on participation has increased, especially in areas the community has shown interest in. Important. They see the community as important. For some time now. Hi, Danitha. This just implies that they were the ones that gave the balance changes for Danitha, right? So she definitely needed some tweaking. The infinite combos with Danitha were very frustrating to go up against. And so them going ahead and tweaking that is a good sign. On the topic of upcoming activities, the balance changes recently deployed are only the first in a series of efforts to catch up to the list of currently needed actions, bug fixes, improvements, and updates, including but not limited to, and here we're going to see what those things are, right? So we've got balancing changes, bug fixes, events, matchmaking, and rank system rework. So I think that this right here is really, really important. There's been a growing list of bugs that have been posted on the forums and that the community is trying to notify the studio about that need to be fixed in the game. And so this tells us that they're going to be trying to catch up on this and that they see this as a high priority, right? So bug fixes will be really good. Improvements to the game, definitely necessary. This game needs some improvements to come up to date a little bit, just be a little bit more in line with other current games. Updates, also really good. We want to have sets come out closely in Puzzle Quest to when they come out in paper. Just having that little timeline keeps the excitement going, as I'm sure there are many of you who play Paper Magic and then you come over and play Puzzle Quest as well. So it just keeps the excitement of the sets coming. So First up is going to be the further balancing changes. So we're pleased that the balancing actions taken on Danitha, Benalia's Hope, and Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, were well received by the community. However, we understand that there are other interactions that need to be revisited. Rest assured, these are being actively worked on. While we are not ready to disclose which interactions will be adjusted on today's announcement, we can share that these changes are scheduled to go live with the upcoming version of the game. I want to highlight on this right here that I can't tell you how happy I am to see this. We can share that these changes are scheduled to go live with the upcoming version of the game. The next version of the game is going to be releasing the Wilds of Eldraine set. And so I may have just butchered the pronunciation of that. If I did, I'm sorry. But nonetheless, the studio is giving us information before something comes out. We are being communicated to in advance about something to expect in the game. And I really like that as a first step from the new team. If this is going to be something that continues from them, I think that will go a long way to building, just sort of a positive repertoire with the community. So this tells us that they are planning on having a large balance overhaul of the game that's going to come out with the next set. So keep that in mind as we continue going through this, because they also tell us roughly when they're hoping to have that set come out. Another huge thing. So bug fixes. We mentioned during the balancing changes how the bug fixing was below our usual standards due to internal restructuring. And we're grateful for your patience and for continuing to submit your reports. With the transition now complete, we're ramping up our efforts to address lingering issues more promptly, as we ask you to understand that not all fixes are the same, with some requiring more complex work. Expect a slew of fixes in the next game version, the details of which will be provided in its release notes. So everything in this is important, right? But they're saying that the transition is complete. So as of this announcement going live, this tells us that Webcore Games is in control of Puzzle Quest and Octagon is not. It also tells us that they are working on trying to go through as many of the submitted bug reports as they can, with some of them being simpler fixes, some of them being less simple fixes, and that we are going to see a large group of bug fixes that will be coming out with the Wilds of Eldraine set. So not only are they saying that we're going to be getting a large balance change when the new set comes out, with that next big patch, but we're also going to be seeing a host of bug fixes that are going to be going along with that as well. And so those two coupled together are definitely going to invigorate the game, and that's really positive news. They then go on to talk about events, matchmaking, and ranked system rework. So our plans to overhaul the ranked system and matchmaking mechanics remain firmly in place. However, these systems directly interact with other key areas of the game, such as events, requiring some additional attention. While we can't commit to a specific date for the revision on these, be assured they are tagged as high priority. These should not be rushed out. We have to work diligently to ensure that they not only function well individually, but also harmonize with each other to elevate your gaming experience. So this tells us that we're going to be seeing a rework to how matchmaking is done, so who you're going to get paired up with in events, along with the ranking tier at the end of an event. And I know that this is something that the community has been clamoring for a really long time, right? Like if you play in an event and you miss one objective in that event, so you go down from 140 to 138 points in a coalition event, or 137, whatever the point tally is, right? And you go all the way from first place to like 1,500th place, just because it's either perfect or nothing in the events right now. This tells us that there's going to be a little bit of change. It'll be a different way in which they're going to hand out rewards based on your scoring than the current system. And I think that that's a really good thing. So the one thing that I would love to see them add to this is a restructure of the rewards for events. That's not in this. I think that that would go a long way as well. I think that the individual rewards in coalition events are very lackluster, and so hopefully that's something that gets tweaked. But I mean, that aside, I would much rather see these three things here being addressed, along with something that they mentioned up top that I want to get to in just a moment as well. That will, I think, breathe more life into the game, and at the very least, it makes me excited for the future. So I like that they're communicating in advance. I like that they see balance and bug fixing as high priority issues that are going to be coming into the game. And I like that they see things like events, matchmaking, and the rank system being other things that are high priority targets for them to work on as well. Because those are all things that I would have definitely tabbed as some of the highest priority fixes. My only other priority fix that isn't on this is rewards for playing the game. So we can't wait to tell you all about Redacted. So while we are intensely focused on top priority tasks such as crucial bug fixes, gameplay balancing, and attention to new content, we're brimming with excitement for what lies ahead. New content, right? So what they said here is going to be new cards. That's always huge. We love getting new cards, new things to chase in the game, very important. And I'm also going to take that to mean new events as well, because they mentioned that there haven't been as many events coming out in the game. And I know that, at least for me, playing the same events now every single weekend that I have played for years and years definitely adds a stale element to the game. So I would love to see an event overhaul where we're playing newer events. There are more new events coming out with new sets. And then we are playing those events during the life of that set for the most part, with maybe every so often we play an older event just to change things up. But it would be really nice to just have more fresh things into the game. And so if that is what they mean by top priority tasks, including attention to new content, that's huge for me, right? To say we're enthusiastic about the game's future would be an understatement. We're actively discussing a multitude of ideas that we look forward to sharing with you when the time is right. Our ultimate goal is to not only invigorate our existing community, that's us, with new and compelling experiences, but also make Magic Puzzle Quest irresistibly engaging for those who have yet to join us. Honestly, if they can find more ways to bring new people into the game, that would be huge. This game definitely needs a little bit of a facelift in terms of like what's going on in the game, but also in the community, because I think there's a lot of people in the community who have been playing this game for a really long time. And so it's broken up into tiers of people. You've got the people who have been playing since pretty early on, and they are very invested in the game, and they're very dedicated players. You've got the group of people who play for their coalition. They probably don't do too much outside of coalition events. They just play because they're a part of a group. And so it's sort of like every weekend they log in to play their events. And then you've got the newer people who are still exploring and learning the game. And so for there to be more new people exploring and learning the game, that can fill in some more here, and maybe some of those people who are just playing for coalition events might have some more reasons to play outside of just the coalition events. And then just building up the communities, right? Like the community has shrunk a lot in the last 2 years. And so it'd be really nice to see the community start to expand again, because this community for this game is absolutely fantastic. I love the community for this game. Way better than any game that I've played other than this. So about the upcoming version. We've touched a lot on updates set to arrive with the upcoming release of version 6.3.0. And we have one more piece of content to confirm. The latest Magic Puzzle Quest expansion, Wilds of Eldraine, will be introduced to the game. This set will contain a diverse range of cards with new and returning mechanics, including some very spicy fan-favorite classics making their debut on Magic Puzzle Quest. We swear this is not a fairy tale. Pun, because that's what Eldraine is about. A comprehensive breakdown of this expansion will be shared as we approach the release date. Now look at this. At the end of September. So, they're telling us that the next update is going to be a new set. They're telling us that the next update is going to come with a whole bunch of balance changes. They're telling us that the next update is going to have a whole host of bug fixes. They're telling us that the next update is going to have our new set, and they're telling us that the next update is coming at the end of September. So this is a lot of information that they're giving to us. I think that my general takeaway from this is really, really positive, right? They touched upon a lot of recent pain points in the community that I think that they really needed to address. I think that there's going to need to be some healing as this new studio comes in. And hopefully that helps launch the game forward. I think that this game has been sliding back a little bit in the last few months, and so hopefully this helps move the game forward again. And so I think that the dev team is the new team, right? They're doing and saying the right things for what I think they need to be doing and saying moving forward. As I mentioned earlier, the only thing that I feel like they really missed out on is the reward section. And so I'd be interested to see if that's something that they do address at some point. But that's not the make or break thing for me. The make or break thing is much more the things that they have said. So the end of what they've got in this little post is today has been packed with information, and we hope it has left you as excited as we are about what's in store with version 6.3.0 and beyond. We want to express our gratitude to Octagon for their years of innovation and unwavering commitment to the community. We appreciate Octagon's support and commitment to quality in passing the torch to ensure that the same level of care and passion for the game and its community will continue to thrive. In this process, Octagon and 505 Go collectively have been incredibly diligent in selecting the right studio to take over the game, ensuring its continued success and growth. Rest assured, we'll do our best to uphold and build upon that legacy. Stay tuned for more updates coming your way by the end of September. Sincerely, Webcore Games team. So that's the entirety of the post here. Once again, a lot of really good stuff. If you want to go ahead and read it yourself, you can find it on the forums. But I like what they have to say. I like the sound of this new team, and I'm excited for what that era brings to the game. If you want to learn a little bit more about the new team, you can go to their website, Webcore Games, and so you can take a look at some of their games and some of their work. And so you can just go ahead and scroll through, and you can see some of what it is that they have done leading into their taking over for Puzzle Quest. And so, right, we've got that, and then you can learn a little bit more about them and some of their projects. So I definitely urge those of you who are interested in learning more about the company to go ahead and do that. You can check them out at webcoregames.com. But otherwise, definitely go ahead, take a look yourself at this post that they put on the forums. I'd love to know what it is that you guys think about this shift. How is it that you feel that they addressed the different things that they are planning to do for the community? Do you feel positively about this? Do you feel neutral about it? Do you feel negatively about it? How do you feel about this new development team? Go ahead, put that in the comments. I'd love to chat with some of you guys. Feel free to hit me up on Discord as well. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to know what the community thinks, as I'm trying to get more in touch with more people in the community after my little hiatus there from the game. So I think this is big news. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.